How do you calculate variance for Python data analysis? Imagine you have a bunch of numbers and you want to see how spread out they are. Maybe some are close to the average, and others are far away. That's where variance comes in. Variance tells you how much the data points differ from the average value. It's a key part of descriptive statistics and helps in understanding data variability. When working with Python for data analysis, calculating variance is straightforward, especially with the help of the NumPy library. First, you need to understand the basic idea. Find the average of your data. Then, subtract that average from each data point to see how far each one is from the mean. Next, square those differences to get rid of negative values and emphasize larger deviations. Finally, find the average of those squared differences. The result is the variance. It shows how much the data points are spread out around the mean. In Python, the most common way to calculate variance is by using the NumPy library. You start by importing NumPy with the command import NumPy as NP. Then prepare your data as a list or a NumPy array. For example, if your data is 2445579, you can pass it directly into the NumPy function. To get the population variance, use NP, var, like this. Variance is equal to NP, var data. This function calculates the average of the squared deviations from the mean. If you are working with multidimensional data, such as a matrix, you can specify the axis along which to calculate the variance. For example, if you have a two-dimensional array, you can compute the variance across rows or columns by setting the axis parameter. For rows, use axis is equal to 1, and for columns, use axis is equal to 0. This helps analyze data in different directions. It's important to know the difference between population and sample variance. The default in NumPy's NP, var, function is population variance, which divides by the total number of data points. But if you are working with a sample and want to estimate the variance of the larger population, you should set the DDOF parameter to 1. This adjusts the calculation to divide by 1 less than the number of data points, giving you the sample variance. For example, to calculate the sample variance of your data, you would write sample variance is equal to NP, var data DDOF is equal to 1. This is useful in many data analysis tasks where your data is just a part of a bigger population. Knowing how to calculate variance in Python helps you understand how data points are spread out, which is essential for many statistical analyses. Variance is often used before calculating the standard deviation, which is just the square root of the variance. Both measures help you see the data's spread and variability. In summary, to find the variance in Python, load your data into a list or array, then use the NP, var, function. Adjust the DDOF parameter depending on whether you want population or sample variance. For multidimensional data, specify the axis to analyze along. This method is fast, reliable, and widely used in data analysis projects. It's a simple yet powerful way to measure data variability and understand your dataset better.